Hey everybody, welcome back to YAFTV. It is Friday, November 3rd, 2023. It is the third anniversary of the steal of our election in 2020 and basically the globalist coup that's been going on in this country ever since, with an entire cabinet that does have not any valid oaths of office as uncovered by Todd Callender and his crew. But that's just what's going on. It's also TGIF. Thanks for being back on the channel with YAFTV. I'm so glad to be back with you today. I want to do a little housekeeping before I get started on the news. We're going to cover Michelle Obama running 2024. We're going to cover directed energy weapons by Israel. A bunch of stuff here. Euthanasia in Canada. The new sell your organs as you die plan. All Cartel, Babylon, Build Back, Babylon Better scenarios. But I need to cover some housekeeping. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Those of you who have recently and continually monthly, you got us through October. Thank you so much. And we're into November, but we always give away 2 bottles of the C60 Evo capsules. This is the ESS 60 capsules of C60 Evo Carbon 60, the most potent, just 100% potent C60 product there on the market, who supports this channel, and we give away 2 bottles every month on this channel because of their sponsorship. And the 2 raffle winners in this random selection this month for October were Catherine and Valerie. And so we're sending out those emails tonight. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Catherine and Valerie, 1 bottle of C60 Evo caps going to you. I love the capsules because they are they're in some gelatin, and so it's digestible and an easier way for people that have different kind of digestive things. For me, it translates easier for how it digests, but there's all kinds of products. We got the C60 Evo MCT oil, which is great for your workouts, great for priming your system to fight inflammation before you work out. But as we know, it's also fighting the nano, it's fighting the sensors, it's fighting all the stuff in our bodies that gets into the cellular level because it's able to get into your mitochondria. And so C60 Evo does support this channel, and it gives 10% off to all viewers. And that is, you go to c60evo.com/YAFTV and you use the code YAFTV for 10% off. And also people who subscribe and or donate to the channel get 15% off, and there you get a separate link, a separate email sent to you. So thanks for letting me plug there, and also just congratulations to Catherine and Valerie. I love giving away stuff. It's, I loved back in the day when I could give away more. Right now, I can only give away what my sponsors allow me to do, but it is exciting. But another thing I want to do, I know we're in 3 minutes, but I've got to tell a few people here. We're sending out emails, and we're getting super shadow banned on Rumble and everywhere else. But I want to let people know that normally get emails from us. It looks like the Apple-based email systems are getting rejected as spam. So if you're coming from me.com or iCloud.com or Mac.com or ixnetcom.com, and even people from protonmail.com, it's getting filtered as spam and sent back. So if you want to send new emails, do that on the Ko-Fi sign up that you're part of, and we will and also people who have their own .coms, like if it's your own private email system on your own website, if those also are getting sent back because it's just the whole censorship machine. So just letting you know, if you want to send a new email in so we can get you going, we have about 50 people or so on the email list that are getting sent back where they're not letting it happen. Okay, so back into the news here. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Thank God I'm free. We're still fighting for freedom here as we look at what's going on in the news. So, it's dire out there. We all know it. And as we go into the weekend, we want to try to keep hope and try to foster some sort of, upbeat scenario. And you have to do it. You have to get out in your communities. You have to enjoy whatever time off you have over the weekend, if you have the privilege to have that time off, to absolutely get out and share with people and up the vibes, right? Up the vibes, up the prayer, get with your church members, just continue to up the vibes, because we're in this stream of consciousness right now that's happening on a planetary level, astrologically, energetically. There is a huge shift here that's going on to do with energetic timelines. And I can't get into that too much in this video. I will in the beginning of next week. But there is a situation where you want to keep your vibes really high. Don't go into the depression, the doldrums, the anger, the fueling of the hatred. Just really get with prayer, get with God, get with meditation, keep your vibes high. And so I'm going to start here by talking about directed energy weapons. Israel is saying now, because they can't get their Iron Dome replenished, and they must do so because, of course, this whole scenario, this created erie that's going on in the cradle of civilization there. Well, they're now saying they have to use their directed energy weapons. Okay, and this is a big deal. Okay, we have whatever happened in Acapulco recently with the hurricane, and people are saying directed energy weapons there. I haven't had the time to look into that yet. But we're looking at where Cartel Babylon is just using directed energy weapons wherever they want, okay, to build back Babylon better. Anywhere in the world, usually this has to do with places that declared themselves smart cities, signed contracts, got paid massive bribes, huge pay for play, the C40 mayors, all of it. If you're in one of those places, you need to take out those council members, those city council members, those mayors, whoever has declared your city a C40 mayor city. You could be under attack soon, because Acapulco was said to become a smart city. Okay, and the same with Maui, right? With that whole Maui in Hawaii in general, declaring that they're going to do massive smart technology all across the Hawaiian Islands. It means you are directed energy weapon fodder if they decide to destroy you. And BlackRock is behind it. So many people behind it trying to claim this real estate, this earth, which is they're not making more of it, right, except through volcanoes. So we're dealing with a situation where we have only so much land, and Cartel Babylon's going after it. But when I was talking about Israel, what I was getting to was that Israel is saying they will have to use directed energy weapons, okay, they're satellite based mounted weapons, in order to thwart the rockets coming from somewhere, from Hezbollah. I don't know, is it happening? Is there rockets, coming? All we're knowing is that they're now saying they're going to be using directed energy weapons. That's a huge deal because they don't usually announce that. But we have Unit 512 that I've been talking about the last few videos. Unit 512, American base there at the south of Gaza, where they've created a secret base, which is no longer secret because The Intercept brought it out, and $36 million plus from the Pentagon to fund this base back in August. Okay, this was after Operation Juniper Oak, where they did all of the security exercises in the U.S. and Israel, in southern Israel, right next to the Gaza, where they basically created all the scenarios that are playing out now. Okay, but Unit 512 is sitting there, and it's a broadcasting base, it's an electronics weapons base, basically. Okay, so it's super situated to be what would be perfect for, in the Space Force sense, which is always, we can basically guide directed energy weapons anywhere. And so when we look at this and we look at what I wanted to mention here is that in the USA, they killed the pipeline for carbon. What I'm going to segue into here is that carbon, okay, as they say, carbon is bad. We must have the climate, police, police force. They're now coming, they want a climate army, literally saying this, coming out of the UN, that they want an army of climate activists, not activists, literal like federal employees. And this is getting so crazy because obviously carbon is what supports us as life forms. I know I'm kind of rattling on here, but what I'm trying to get at is that these directed energy weapons require an enormous amount of carbon. Okay, the lasers, okay, that are the directed energy weapons they use massive amounts of carbon. Okay, so when we look at, we're going to sequester carbon, we must remove carbon from the atmosphere, we must create carbon pipelines, we must, bury trees so that we can capture carbon. They're capturing the carbon for the directed energy weapons. Okay, it's not because carbon bad, you're bad for breathing, you're using so much carbon, by having a gas furnace. No. They need the carbon for the directed energy weapons for their lasers. So the laser with like 3 seconds, okay, of directed energy weapons from satellite-based systems will use more carbon than your average town will use in a week. Okay, it takes so much carbon. All right, so all the emissions of carbon, it's a giant lie. They're using the carbon for the directed energy weapons, and it's what's essential for their lasers. And so when we look at, Bill Gates talking about, in a recent interview, he said, we don't plant trees. We're not ridiculous. Are we the science guys or are we the idiots? What side are we on? I mean, as disgusting a display as that, for him to say it, he has huge money into cutting down trees, burying them, trying to capture carbon. It's not that they can't, that there's an overload of carbon. They need more of it. Okay, there's not any mass. We're actually carbon reduced. We need more carbon. Okay, carbon is what makes our natural God-given Earth function. It makes the trees grow. It makes us get oxygen. Okay, it's not just about oxygen reduction or trying to kill us off, which it is, but it's also about they need carbon. Okay, they need more of it in order to feed this directed energy weapons system, which is Cartel Babylon's plan system for hitting anybody they want at any time. Okay, and so it's really important to understand that that's what that's all about. And when they're talking about it in Israel, they're saying we're about to use directed energy weapons. I mean, this might be the first time they've said the unspoken thing out loud, where they're saying, well, if Iron Dome can't work, we're going to use our satellite-based weapons. And we have Unit 512, the U.S. secret base there, in southern Israel, very much connected to all of this. With its radar and electronic warfare, very much part of it, and probably very much part of why Netanyahu went to meet with Elon Musk back right before this all kicked off on October 7th. So I wanted to mention that about carbon, directed energy weapons, the sequestering of carbon. Very interesting that in the United States there was a carbon capture pipeline that they were pushing, right? And it was canceled. It was canceled, okay, supposedly due to, that it wasn't feasible. And it's very interesting because I'm totally against carbon capture pipelines, obviously. I'm totally against cutting down forests to bury it and suck the carbon out of it, right? So they can use it for their energy purposes, which is basically not only trading on derivatives. No. It's literally to power these directed energy weapons. But they're killing it in the U.S., okay, because probably they don't want the U.S. to have directed energy weapons, okay. It's very interesting to look at that, it's all so multi-layered where, of course we're against all the climate crap. We're against, it's all baloney, but then this is a weapon fuel. Okay, weapon fuel is carbon. And so now in the U.S., they closed down the pipeline that would be collecting the weapon fuel for directed energy weapons for the United States military. Don't want it for any military, but interesting that they would shut it down here. So already at 15 minutes, I can't believe it's already gone on so long. Thanks for bearing with me, but I want to get into, there's so much more to say about Israel, what's going on there, because now I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get into Michelle Obama, because we have the situation where it looks like Michelle Obama is going to run and is going to be announced pretty soon. It could be as early as a few weeks. It could be in December. It might wait until the primary. And as they go, a lot of the Trump lawfare is losing steam. They're fighting to hit him on every side. It's clear election, warfare, complete anti-constitutional on every level. But I wanted to mention Joel Gilbert, his new documentary and book that is out about Michelle Obama running in 2024. And it's been said for, I don't know, like a year, that Roger Stone and others have been saying that Michelle Obama is going to come out as the candidate, because we're going to see the rollout of the impeachment. We already are seeing it. We saw Mike Johnson come out and say that the impeachment is clear cut, that we must impeach Joe Biden. The checks are coming out. It's all coming out, and so they'll impeach him, or he'll have some, biological event that might stop him from running. He is still not officially announced his candidacy. There is no Democratic candidate yet. There's no Democratic candidate. And so we have to wonder, well, who are they going to pull out? So we thought maybe Newsom. He's running to China. He's falling down the steps like Biden. I don't know if you saw that in the videos yesterday, but he literally slid down the steps Biden style. It's kind of funny because he is very Biden-esque in his training. But let's get to Michelle Obama, because Joel Gilbert has done an incredible documentary and a book called Michelle Obama 2024. Basically that she plans to run, and that his subtitle is "Only the Truth Can Stop Her." Okay, I will link him below, and I'll link the book and the DVD below, the film below, and you can also watch it online. But basically, what he outlines is that Michelle Obama is absolutely going to run, and that she is going to be kind of thrown in there during this impeachment process, or whatever's about to happen as the kickoff of World War III is going on. She's going to be the savior candidate. I'm not a politician. Almost Trumpian style for the Democrats. I'm not a politician. Everybody loves me. I have 100 million viewers on social media. I'm the queen of social media. And so let's get into what Joel Gilbert. He's an incredible documentary filmmaker. He made the incredible films about Obama. I think it was called Not My Real Father. He basically debunked Obama's Kenyan heritage and really got into who Obama was and exposed that to the world. Now he's come back to deal with Michelle Obama and expose basically tons of fraud and massive amounts of harm to the African American communities in Chicago. Her basic pay for play that has to do with liberals and radicals out of Chicago, and her fraud of who she is and what she's running with. And so let's get into this. So basically what Joel Gilbert is saying is that Michelle Obama, these are a few reasons why we know she's going to be the candidate. He says that because they moved the primary to South Carolina, the first primary, right, out of Iowa, moved it to South Carolina, how do they even do that? How is that even possible? They move it to South Carolina, and this is, of course, Michelle Obama's like super popular there. She spent her childhood summers there. She has relatives there. It's like she calls it her adopted state. And of course, we have a massive African-American voting population there, massive liberal population connected with her sphere of influence there. And he's saying that the fact that they moved the primary to South Carolina is very important to understand why she's going to show up to be in the primary in January in South Carolina. And also that they moved the Democratic National Convention to Chicago, also being very important to understand because she is from Chicago, has a huge base there, even though she did so many nefarious things in Chicago, but she still has a huge base there. It is, her hometown. And that he's saying these are markers that show that Michelle Obama is coming. And so I'm going to link it below, Michelle Obama 2024, the documentary. I will link it below. But let's look at what's going on. So what they already have in place, and Ted Cruz, Roger Stone, multiple people coming out saying they believe Michelle Obama is going to be the candidate. And so they already have in place, the Obamas, something called Organizing for America that they put in place in 2010. This is already like a huge organization across the country that will absolutely roll out her campaign instantly. Roll it out, already ready to go. Organizing for America. I'll link it below. And so we also have what Gilbert is trying to say is that that everything Obama did in lockstep is what Michelle Obama is doing now in lockstep to basically emulate what Obama did with his campaign to get himself elected. And part of this was voter registration. And what Obama did back in his day, he had something called Project Vote for voter registration. And Michelle Obama comes out of a voter intimidation family. I'll get into that in a second. She talks about her father being involved with getting the liberals elected in Chicago. But let's talk about what do we have now. We have Michelle Obama's voter registration campaign called When We All Vote. When We All Vote. Got $26 million from the Soros Open Societies Foundation. $26 million when we all vote. And the broader organization is called Civic Nation. Civic Nation, again, out of Soros funded. I'm going to put on my glasses because it helps me. And so the Civic Nation is the large organization, the bigger Soros funded organization. And remember, the Soros Open Societies Foundation, I believe it's still controlled by Lord Malloch Brown. Right? When we talk about in my video yesterday about the King's Privy Council, the Pilgrim Society, all of it, Lord Malloch Brown, right there in the King's Privy Council, he actually is running the Open Societies Foundation, super connected to Blinken, super connected to his father, and all of this ties into Israel so intensely. So it's all very interesting. So Civic Nation is literally run by Valerie Jarrett, Civic Nation, out of George Soros, out of Lord Malloch Brown, out of King's Privy Council. Valerie Jarrett, is CEO of the Obama Foundation, but she's also running Civic Nation. So she's CEO of the Obama Foundation. She, of course, was his senior advisor in the White House. She is basically living in his house there in D.C., where he's still operating behind the scenes with West Exec and Blinken and the Biden puppet. This is Valerie Jarrett, right? And we'll get into her more in how this all plays out with Michelle Obama. But so Michelle has 100 million voters. 100 million people on her social media. Probably the majority of those are voting age. And then she has since 10/7, since the Hamas operation, she has not tweeted at all. She usually would tweet every day. She's not tweeting at all. She did like one retweet. She has literally not been showing up on social media. And she's laying low because she doesn't want to offend one side or the other. I think that's a big tell. Also, what we find is that Michelle Obama introduced Joe Biden, okay, in the 2020 keynote address as speaker of the keynote there for the 2020 election at the DNC. And Barack Obama had done the keynote for John Kerry in the 2004, keynote at the DNC. You see these replications. It's like they're setting up the same scenario, the same exact playbook, okay, to put up Michelle Obama because she's so inoffensive, right? And yet she's not. And so many people have come out to talk about who she really is. So she did her book, Becoming, okay, in 2018, this autobiography, just like Barack Obama did before his run. And she also, there was a Netflix movie made of that, the same thing, Becoming, which was, of course, we've talked about this in the past, but Jack Smith, who is persecuting and prosecuting Donald Trump, and now looks like that's going to be pushed up past the election in D.C., his wife, Jack Smith's wife, according to Todd Callender, no oath of Jack Smith. There's no oath. Okay, our country's being run by imposters with the entire administration and their prosecutors having no oaths of office. No, they're either frauds, they're either imposters, or they're doing treason. So Jack Smith's wife produced the Netflix movie, which was Michelle Obama's Becoming movie. And so we're getting all of it, like the books for kids everywhere. Everything's like projecting Michelle Obama as a larger-than-life figure. And what's important to understand is that there's a lot of lies that have gone down about Michelle Obama. And I'm just going to say it right here, and this is what Joel Gilbert says. For everything he knows, she's absolutely a woman. Okay, she grew up as a woman. She was a woman-born woman, and Michelle Obama is a woman. I think that when Joan Rivers, said that thing, they were asked, will there ever be a gay president? And she said, we already have one, and said Michelle Obama is a tranny, all this. I really think she said we already have one. That's the most important statement because it's come out so much recently of Barack Obama's gay affairs, okay, his hookups. Okay, there was the one guy who was suicided or gunshot to the back of the head suicide, or you get now you have the chef that is drowned in 8 feet of water. You have other of his smoking crack, sex in the car lovers coming out talking about Obama, right? And so they're trying to silence all this. They're trying to get a handle on it, but it looks like this is to cover up not for Barack, but for Michelle's upcoming run. And so what Gilbert has outlined in his documentary, in his book, is that Michelle Obama didn't grow up in South Side, and she puts on these affected, during the elections for Obama, she put on affected accents just like Hillary Clinton did when she was running, pretending like, put on her Southern, for entertainment purposes, only poor people's accents. Or, you see the Michelle Obama do the poor urban Black American accents, basically saying that she came from South Shore, not from the South Side. That she grew up in the South Shore neighborhood, which is on Lake Michigan, upper middle class neighborhood. She spent most of her time with her best friend hanging out at Jesse Jackson's home there on South Shore, and that she did not go to her local school with her Black neighbors. She went to a school that was an hour away or an hour and a half away, and then went to Whitley High School where she became treasurer. I heard somebody today say that they knew her, that one of their closest friends was the guy who sat behind her at Whitley High School, and that ran against her as treasurer, claims that election was stolen. I think that's hysterical for entertainment purposes only. Very interesting. But went to Whitley High School. She was beat up by the people in her neighborhood who called her an Oreo because she was, they said, you're black on the outside, white on the inside, all this, racial infighting going on there. But we have Michelle Obama basically wanting to escape the black identity where she came from, and instead move as much as she could into an elite and primarily white situation, okay, to advance herself. And that she has claimed that her father was a janitor and all these things, and no, her dad was given a pretty nice position in working in the public utilities department as a water inspector. Very easy job, doesn't take much of your day. And he then was paid to go door to door, pretty much intimidating voters, the black voters. There was pay for play involved, money involved, and to get them to vote for these liberal whites who are literally just taking their, destroying their communities, wanting to steal their land, wanting to gentrify and take tons of money from the HUD for basically running these slums into the ground. All kinds of stuff going on here to do with her dad and the kind of Mayor Daley style, back in the day of Chicago of pay for play for votes. Then we get her claiming that she was that her school guidance counselor tried to tell her to not go to Princeton. Basically, she claimed that she was racially profiled not to go to Princeton because she was black, but her actual guidance counselor was a huge Christian in the area named Nan King, who was black, and that it comes out that it has more to do with her grades. That her grades might not get her into Princeton, but her brother had gone to Princeton as a huge basketball star, and so that's basically how she got into Princeton. And she had low SATs, all of this. All of it goes on and on, but I'm kind of getting into the weeds, and that's whatever, anybody's story. But what she did after college is, I think, what gets to be more important, which has to do with when she went to Sidley Austin law firm and started working really for the Democratic donor machine, investors and developers in the area, where she really started screwing over the black community in Chicago, and especially the South Side. And she basically did a ton of work for something called Cabrini Green, where she got basically an assistant housing director position, kind of like Kamala Harris through Mayor What's-His-Face there in San Francisco, kind of this well-paid, housing office position. But in Michelle Obama's case, she literally evicted 20,000 black people, black families, 20,000 black families. Okay, she was responsible for evicting them so that large DNC donors and developers could come in and build something called Cabrini Green and other large developments. Okay, in the gentrification of certain areas of Chicago. And so we're looking at this kind of situation where she's working for basically the big, now it would be BlackRock. Then probably all these people, who did this then are now owned by BlackRock. But this is what we're looking at. And then she started something called South Side Collaborative, which had to do with University of Chicago Med. Okay, so Chicago Med, where she organized something called South Side Collaborative, made supposedly about $300,000 doing it. Again, all related back to Joel Gilbert's book and his documentary, where where you'd have your poor, especially black people coming into the emergency room with, they're ill and they need help, and the only way they can get health care is go to the emergency room. If you don't have, if you don't have insurance, you go to the emergency room. And so she organized it where they'd have these white vans, which would come and empty out the emergency rooms of all of these black people, these poor black people, and bring them out to poorly staffed and totally underserviced local neighborhood clinics instead. So you'd be there sitting there needing health care. She would take them, her organization, Southside Collaborative, pick them up in white vans and then dump them at these street side clinics to, fend for themselves. Good luck to you kind of thing. Basically servicing University of Chicago Med to not have to take in all the extra money and expense of treating these people in the emergency room. And apparently there's about $300,000 involved in that for her. And of course, there is the situation of Michelle Obama being hugely influenced and mentored by Bernardine Dorn, okay, the Weather Underground, teist, okay, teist. I think, was she the one that got the pardon from Bill Clinton? I haven't looked it up recently. Bill Ayers, all of them out there at the University of Chicago. But Bernardine Dorn became Michelle Obama's mentor. Okay, the Rules for Radicals, Bill Ayers, all of it. All about radicalizing the population. And so they created something called Public Allies, where they would organize, they would recruit people who were recently out of prison, ex-cons, or people down and out going through the system. They would recruit them and hire them into these low positions. And then part of their contract would be they have to go through 1 day a week of indoctrination into basically radical communism, Weather Underground style. Literally, Bernardine Dorn was part of the Weather Underground of, they BOMB'd various buildings, killed people, were pardoned. All through a communist revolution was their aim. And so these are the people influencing Michelle Obama, and then she gets, of course, with Barack, and that's a unification for power. And when we look at this, we also have to bring in Valerie Jarrett. Just as I said, she's CEO of the Obama Foundation and the Civics, the Civics organization, Civic Nation by George Soros. Well, Valerie Jarrett comes in here really huge because she, while Barack Obama was, doing all of his state Senate, work, he was connecting with huge investors basically to take tons of HUD money and to try to turn affordable housing into a private-public partnership situation where investors would get billions from the federal government, from our taxpayer dollars money, and go into, instead of it being state-run affordable housing, it would be investor-based. And so we bring Valerie Jarrett in here with her Habitat company. She's the CEO of the Habitat company there in Chicago, connected to both of these. And she basically was the one that drove all of her HUD finance slums that she was involved with and directed had to be seized by the federal government. Places like Grove Park Plaza, huge outfit, huge slum that got millions from HUD. And then taken over by Barack Obama's private investors, where it became just a rodent-infested, roofs collapsed, the utilities not working, a fire damage. Like, it was so disgusting that the federal government had to come in and take over. And there was another one that was even huger than that they had to seize in 2006. It cost taxpayers $30.1 million, okay, to tear down and rebuild Grove Park Plaza. And, I've always said this in the past, but I always think about Roseanne Barr because she got canceled by Valerie Jarrett when she called her a colostomy bag full of Shiite. And then what happened after that is, Roseanne Barr got her show taken away, all of this. And I always think that Roseanne Barr should come back with Grove Park, a great new sitcom called Grove Park, right? You could have a Valerie Jarrett character, like the sinister demon child that she is, and it would be entertaining. That's for entertainment purposes only, of course. And so all of this is just to kind of show what's going on behind the scenes of the grift that is Michelle Obama out of Chicago, very much like Barack Obama. All of them involved really in this play up to what became The Big Short and became the first phase of the neo-colonialist globalist push of that set in motion the giant, massive buying of all property by BlackRock and Vanguard. And that property, okay, that this neo-feudalism where they were in 2008, they, hundreds of thousands of people evicted, their, homes foreclosed on, totally screwed over. And it was global, right? And that was obviously, they were in on this plan. They're in on this plan now with what's going on here with the cartel Babylon worldwide. Michelle Obama will be the perfect candidate. She'll be kind of Trumpian for the Democrats in the sense that she's not a politician. And she's just loved by everybody on a media type level. And it would be a very strong contester there versus Trump. For the mind people with the mind worms, with the brain disease that don't really see what's really going on. And so I just wanted to lay out there that there is a contestant, I think a push. It's going to have Michelle Obama coming out soon after whatever happens with Biden, whether it's the impeachment or whatever, with this kickoff of whatever next stage of the advent of World War III that they're trying to kick off here with the jump the shark on the Armageddon situation, the self-fulfilling prophecy of the Abrahamic sham. And they're going to have to put somebody in, and I don't think Newsom has the juice, and they can, I think, pretty easily overcome Kamala Harris, who's the new czar of AI. She's our new AI czar, right? I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's like Bozo the Clown being the technology czar. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I just wanted to lay out there that, according to Joel Gilbert, Roger Stone, others, Michelle Obama is very likely going to be the Democratic candidate. So then we get RFK Jr., we get Trump. It's a great mix. And if I really do believe that if Trump and RFK Jr., I know RFK Jr. has his problems, but he's anti-vax, and he's anti-COVID, mRNA, AI, nano, interbody of things. And so if they could combine, if Trump and RFK Jr. could combine, I think it'd be potent versus Michelle Obama. And so that's where I'm going to leave it, folks. We have so much more to say, but, we're sitting here looking at, ongoing bombing, ongoing, we have the Hezbollah, chief of military coming out saying America's the evil, we're coming after America, all of this foreplay that they're doing as they, kill however many they're killing and stage this on the world stage. We got DEW weapons being set to be openly used. Okay, and I think that's huge to say we're going to use directed energy weapons. Now, directed energy weapons literally came out of the UK, out of the Pilgrim Society, out of Lockheed Martin, owned by the King's Privy Council, owned, by that whole outfit in the City of London. We're really huge in the creation or really the rolling out of directed energy weapons. And it gives credence to understand again that the City of London is behind all of it. And now that they're going to come out and say openly that they're using directed energy weapons in Israel, that they're going to have to do it because the Iron Dome just don't have the money. We're waiting for the money. Oh, we already gave them $3.8 billion of our U.S. taxpayer dollars this year. Wasn't enough. No, we have to give them 14.3. Chuck Schumer says, oh, not enough. We must attach it to Ukraine. We need to get more money to the Gomer. Gomer's like the one of the kingdoms of the eighth beast kingdom, right? Gomer out of Ukraine. Well, no, we got to get the Gomer money in there, and we've got to, make sure that, says Schumer, I am the highest ranking Jew in the American government. He literally said it. And so he's gonna stop that separate single spending bill to just give them $14.3 billion more. Israel's a wealthy nation. Why are we giving our money to Israel? We know why. Because of AIPAC, because of the pledge, because of the fact that outside of the Ukraine lobby and the Israel AIPAC lobby are the two largest lobbies in the United States. They're bigger than oil. They're bigger than anything. The Ukraine lobby and Israel. Wow. It's like, really? But it's true. And we know it's true. We've known it's true for a really long time. And so, I'm going to leave it there. It's been 45 minutes. I hope you find this useful. If you do, and you think it added value to your understanding of anything, you can support the channel, and that would help out in November. I want to say congratulations again to Valerie and Catherine for, getting a couple of bottles of C60 Evo capsules. Help clean out the gunge from the interbody sensors. Clean out the gunge from the geoengineering, and also just every kind of inflammation. Just clean out the gunge from your cells. You can go to c60evo.com/YAFTV. Use the code YAFTV for 10% off, or support monthly, get 15% off. But folks, I really appreciate you listening. TGIF, use this weekend to uplift yourself. We're going through some really intense energetics beyond all of this, which I keep meaning to get to. Hopefully I will on Monday, where there's like a natural upliftment coming, okay, from God for us right now. We have the chance to really uplift ourselves, and that's why they're using this time period to oppress, create mayhem, create trauma, create drama, and literally create evil, create death and mayhem and slaughter, because they know that the time is short and they have to do it now. So we're going to raise up our vibrations. We're going to do massive prayer waves. We're going to get with the people we love, and we're going to make our pastors aware of what's going on, and just be part of the raising vibration, because we are free and humanity will be free. We know that that the globalists are failing, they're losing. One of the wonderful things about this communication worldwide is that their narrative is no longer working, because we are free and we are more and more aware of our freedom. So stay free, folks, and I will see you next time. We are free.